Okay, be honest. Think about the very last time you were scrolling through your phone or just sitting in front of the TV and you actually stopped. You completely stopped scrolling or you stopped changing the channel specifically because of an advertisement. Maybe it was a super vibrant Bihu shopping ad for a Mekila Chadar showroom down in Fancy Bazaar that caught your eye. Or maybe it was a classic Purabi Dairy Milk commercial or even a tea gardens package showing those beautiful green hills in the morning mist. Whatever it was, that exact moment when your attention was caught on purpose by someone who actively paid for that privilege, that is advertising in action. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to unpack exactly what that means. We're going to look at why organizations spend crores of rupees doing it, and we'll reveal the ultimate master key of this industry. How one simple four-letter framework called the AIDA model explains almost every single advertisement you have ever seen.
Okay, let's dive into this. Keep that exact advertisement you stopped for right in the back of your mind as we go through this. Because before we can truly understand how ads capture our attention and get us to buy things, we need to strip away the magic and look at the mechanics. What exactly makes an advertisement an ad as opposed to just a regular post or a recommendation from a friend?
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll quickly define what advertising really is and why organizations do it. We'll touch on the ethics of persuasion and break down the communication skeleton. Then we hit the big one, our master key, decoding ads with the AIDA model, before finally zooming out to look at the bigger marketing picture.
Section 1. What is advertising really? Let's look at the AMA definition.
Let's start right at the foundation. To get a precise answer, we looked at the American Marketing Association. They define it as any paid form of non-personal presentation and promotion of ideas, goods, or services by an identified sponsor. Phew, okay, it sounds a bit academic at first glance, right? But it is actually incredibly precise. Let's break this definition down into its three core parts, because each word is doing real heavy lifting here in separating an ad from everything else we consume.
The core elements of any advertisement come down to these three concepts. First, it must be paid. Someone is actively spending money to buy space or time. Second, it's non-personal, meaning it's not one salesperson talking to one customer face-to-face. It goes out to a mass audience. And third, it has an identified sponsor. You always know exactly who is speaking to you. To make this tangible, let's use an Assam-flavored example. Suppose a small business in Guwahati starts selling beautiful handmade Bihu gamosas online. If they simply describe the product on their own website, well, that is information, but it isn't really advertising in the classic sense. However, the exact moment they pay a newspaper like Asomia Pradadin for a display space, or they pay Facebook to boost that post to strangers who've never even heard of the shop, that changes things. Money changed hands for space, it was sent to a mass audience, and the shop's brand name was attached. Boom, that is advertising.
The legendary marketing author Philip Kotler adds one more vital angle to this, noting that its main job is to inform and persuade. Remember those two verbs. Every single advertisement you see is doing at least one of these two things, and honestly, very often it's doing both simultaneously. Section 2. Why do organizations advertise? Objectives and goals.
So why do organizations spend massive amounts of money, sometimes crores of rupees on these campaigns? Well, they have a wide variety of objectives. Sometimes it's about promoting a new product, like when a local brand launches a premium Assam tea blend and needs to prep the market before the product even hits the shelves. Sometimes it's simply creating awareness, like a brand new pharmacy chain opening across Guwahati, just letting people know they exist. Other times, it's about educating consumers, like a public service ad explaining how a new cooking gas safety device prevents leaks. It's also used to build brand loyalty through repetition, generate demand, and even assist the salesperson by doing half the selling job before you even walk into the store. But make no mistake, all of these objectives are ultimately just stepping stones toward one final goal: to sell goods, services, or ideas to a large group of prospective buyers.
Now, depending on the objective, ads are actually classified differently based on how they communicate with us. And the most fascinating split here is between rational advertising and emotional advertising. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. On one side, we have rational advertising. Think of a classic Colgate commercial. It appeals straight to your logic by explaining cavity protection with hard facts, diagrams of teeth, and dentist recommendations. It informs. On the other side, we have emotional advertising. Think of a Cadbury chocolate ad built around the warmth of a family gathering together during Bihu. It doesn't bore you with the ingredients of the chocolate, it talks about the feeling. It persuades through emotion.
Section 3. The ethics of persuasion. Materialism versus media revenue.
Because advertising has immense power to persuade, whether through facts or emotions, it naturally brings us to a pretty complex debate. Is advertising inherently a good or bad thing? On one side, critics argue that advertising fosters materialism. It convinces people to buy things they don't actually need using emotional manipulation. For example, a dishwashing liquid ad that promises to sweep away the dullness of your life isn't really talking about the chemistry of the soap, is it? It's selling an unrealistic lifestyle. But on the flip side, defenders point out a crucial economic reality. Advertising is the revenue engine that keeps our media alive. Without ad revenue, a regional newspaper covering vital flood relief efforts in the Brahmaputra Valley or a local Assamese TV channel would seriously struggle to survive and report the news. So, impartially speaking, advertising is neither a pure villain nor a pure hero. It is a wildly powerful tool, and its ethics depend entirely on how honestly it is utilized.
Section 4. The Communication Skeleton. How ads actually talk.
Setting the ethics aside for a minute, how does an ad actually manage to get a thought from a company's boardroom directly into your brain? Well, every single piece of communication, from a quick WhatsApp message to a massive national TV commercial, relies on the exact same underlying structure. It uses the communication skeleton heavily utilized in marketing, known as the SMCR model. Let's walk through these 4 steps. Step 1 is the source. This is the advertiser, the organization with something to say. Step 2 is the message. This is the ad itself, where the idea is encoded into symbols, words, and music. Step 3 is the channel, the path the message travels on. This could be a television network, a newspaper, or a massive hoarding you drive past on GS Road. And step 4 is the receiver, the target audience, you who has to decode and interpret that message.
But there's a big catch in the SMCR model called noise. Noise is anything that distorts the message between the channel and the receiver. Imagine you were trying to watch that beautifully crafted TV commercial, but a super loud, celebratory Bihu procession passes right outside your window. You can't hear the TV at all. The message is totally lost. That physical disruption is noise. Advertisers have to fight through this noise every single day to ensure their message actually lands.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it brings us to the absolute climax of our explainer. Section 5. Decoding ads with AIDEA, the master key. Because if advertisers want to cut through all that noise and successfully move a consumer from simply seeing a message to actually buying a product, they rely on a master key. It is advertising's oldest, most effective shortcut. Meet the AIDA model, AIDA. If you want to understand how advertising works, this is the absolutely crucial concept to grasp. It lays out the 4 sequential steps every successful ad attempts to walk you through. First, attention. Before anything else, the ad has to stop you in your tracks. A bright billboard, a catchy jingle, a striking headline, it has to break through the noise. Second, interest. Once they have your attention, they have to hold it. You hold attention by being relevant. The ad has to speak to a problem you have or a lifestyle you relate to. Third, desire. This is the pivot. It's not enough for the product to just be interesting. The ad now has to make you actually want it. It shifts from logic to emotion, showing you how your life improves with this product. And finally, action. The ad must push you to do something tangible. Click a link, make a phone call, or visit a store.
Let's map the AIDA steps onto a real-world example. A Bihu season advertisement for a jewelry showroom in Guwahati. To get your attention, the ad uses incredibly bright visuals and loud traditional Bihu music that just jumps off the screen. To hold your interest, it shows gorgeous gold jewelry specifically paired with a traditional Mekala Chador. It's highly relevant to the festival you are currently celebrating. To build desire, the ad suddenly announces a limited period, massive discount. Now you don't just like it, you want it before it's gone. And finally, the action. The voiceover explicitly says, visit our showroom before the 15th. That flow, attention, interest, desire, action, is the AIDA model working flawlessly exactly as designed to pull you through the psychological journey of a purchase.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 6, the bigger marketing picture. A quick reality check. As powerful as the AIDA model is, we need a reality check on the bigger marketing picture. Here is the crucial caveat. Real consumers, meaning you and I, don't always move through those 4 steps in a neat straight line. Think about impulse buys. Sometimes you are standing at the billing counter of a grocery store, you see a candy bar, you grab it, and you buy it. You acted first, and you only really felt the desire or interest while you were eating it in the car. Human behavior is messy. So AIDA is an incredibly useful map for designing communications, but it is definitely not a rigid law of physics.
Furthermore, we have to remember that advertising is just one single piece of the overall business puzzle. Looking at the 4 P's of marketing, product, price, promotion, and place, advertising lives entirely inside that third bullet, promotion. This means that advertising alone absolutely cannot fix a bad product. It cannot fix a ridiculous price, and it definitely can't fix a store being in the wrong place. Advertising can only communicate what already exists. It amplifies the truth of the product, for better or for worse. So we've broken down the definition, the ethics, the communication skeleton, and the powerful IDA framework that drives the advertising industry. I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time you find yourself making a sudden purchase, maybe a pair of shoes online or a snack at the store, take a step back and ask yourself, did I really organically want this? Or did the IDA model just work perfectly on me? The answer might surprise you. Keep learning, keep questioning the world around you, and we'll see you in the next explainer.